Mm. From Channel 6 to Midnight News, this is your boy Ryan Guy, and with me is Eric Crosby. Eric,
Indeed.
what's happening in the news, man? What's going on with the news?
So much news, Ryan. So much news. We have a deluge of news because it is yet again that time of year where the world waits with bated breath as the summer is upon us and just the heat and the pressure and, well, at least over here on this hemisphere, because I think it's cold on the other hemisphere. But nevertheless, San Diego Comic-Con time is upon us. And now I don't know off the top of my head if they're actually having it, but nevertheless, that's not stopping all of the other functions of this season, which I'm speaking, if you don't know what I'm speaking of, I'm speaking about Con exclusive reveals. And we are going to take a look at Neca Toys, for those unfamiliar. They have the TMNT license for a bunch of things, most known for their animated series figures. And they have been knocking out of the park, doing a fantastic job, giving us like damn near everything that was seen on the 1987 animated series show in plastic form. And in due course, as they are to do and have been doing and hopefully will continue to do, they are greeting us with another reveal this year. And I believe, this is going to be one of their con exclusives. And that is the, let me get this right, Premonition of a Premutation 4-pack. This thing.
What a name.
What a name. This thing is pretty nuts. It's got like this. I didn't see this coming. I don't think I heard anyone talking about this or anything. So what this is a 4-pack of figures that include premutated versions of characters we've already received. So you have human versions of Baxter Stockman, Splinter, who is in his Hamato Yoshi form, because for those who aren't familiar or get crossed up, in the animated series, the 1987 animated series, Splinter and Hamato Yoshi are the same being. They're the same creature. Whereas in other iterations, they're separate people. Well, one's a rat and one's a human. Then we also get the humanoid gangster thug versions of Bebop and Rocksteady before they were mutated. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I love that this exists. Something about seeing them, especially Bebop and Rocksteady, like they just, like, granted their mutated forms resemble, obviously this a little bit. There's like elements of their outfits that are similar. So there is that. But there's still something iconic about seeing them because we saw them mostly in the first season of the animated series, and that's one that's like near and dear because, generally that's most people's first, or at least people our age's first introduction to the Turtles and a lot of these characters. Now, some other things that come in this set are a variety of accessories. We got interchangeable hands, a fishbowl, tiny pet turtles, spray cans, a boombox, crowbar, chain, butterfly net, and a mouser, and a couple of other things that I don't even really know what they are, just other weapons and different things. So, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff with this set, and it's pretty rad. I'm glad that this exists. I'm glad that but I'm also very glad that they're using it as a con exclusive because, none of this stuff is essential. Like, you don't need, none of these is you're not gonna look at your collection of action figures and think that you're missing out on something because you don't have these figures. That, like, there's a hole in your collection because these are just like, they're non-essential. Like you have the main versions, the ones we know of these figures. This is just an added bonus, and I love the fact that they're using this as an exclusive. And I think that that's actually how it should be. And so I am excited for people that would want this, but I'm also really excited that I don't have to worry about purchasing this because my wallet's going to be able to take a break and, rest easy for the time being, at least,
Yes.
until they reveal something else that they're going to be releasing. But But yeah, so Ryan, what's your thoughts on this? Like, do you have any idea, take on this or whatever?
I'm glad that your wallet gets a small respite from the onslaught that is NECA. I think this set's pretty cool. I think of the figures I see, I think that that Hamato Yoshi probably draws me in the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just of all of them, I think it's pretty cool. Baxter, like I don't know. Baxter looks kind of funny. You point that out on Facebook, and I kind of agree. Something's kind of weird with him.
Yeah,
I think he's too big.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, like, weirdly, I think he's actually just too big. I think that when you make that character design that big, I think that he just looks really awkward.
Yeah.
But, like, when he's smaller, I think it works a little better.
I agree.
However, love, like, the black line work on it. And NECA has been bringing that to the table, honestly, for a long time. And on Baxter, it's actually really cool. The shoes, the jacket. So I think it's cool. But I guess you've already said it, but like, my biggest question for you is like, are you even somewhat tempted to get it? Like, are you even like kind of like a little bit like a maybe? Like, if I could find a deal, well, I'm gonna set you up like this.
Okay.
Let's say you find a deal online. It's just square and honest deal. You go, hey, that's like if it was at the store. No, I'm not getting gouged. So I'm not getting like kind of third party reseller situation. I'm like, I could just buy this like I would if I just walked into I guess Target. So like what would you be a buyer at that price point?
I don't think so. Mostly because if you haven't noticed, action figure prices are skyrocketing. Like, stuff is just getting up to be like regular action figures that you would pay $20 for, earlier in the year, you're now paying $25 for, and then before you know it, it'll be $30. Now, these are generally more expensive because NECA, their specialty, and they put a little bit more into it than your average Marvel Legends figure. However, I don't think so. I don't think that I would be, the only way I'd be tempted to get this is if it was like $20 maybe, like something like very low ball. That, not because it's not worth it. Like, the quality's there, everything is there. It's just, it doesn't mean that much to me. And I think what it is, or what it could be, is that like, I'm just not a fan of human characters necessarily, or like, in regards to this line, I don't know how to articulate it the right way, but in regards to like the movie line, I don't like movie figures generally. So the NECA TMNT figures I like, but I don't want the Casey Jones without his mask. Him with his mask, I'm all about.
Do the human characters in Motu, how are they different?
That's a good question.
They don't have a shirt on?
They don't have a shirt on, topless. If you want if you want my money, NECA, make topless action figures for TMNT, like all of them. I don't care, male, female, it doesn't matter. That's one thing that's going to get my money. But for right now, as long as there's clothes on, then my wallet's closed. But give me your naked figures, make it real, or else forget about it. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Santana had the right idea too. Rob Thomas, they got my back on this. But it's very similar to that. There's something about like, I don't like so for instance, Marvel Legends puts out War Machine from the movies. I love War Machine, and that design looks fantastic. I don't need Don Cheadle's face. Not that there's anything wrong with it. He's a handsome man, and I appreciate that. And I like looking at him on the screen, but I don't need him on my shelf. And but I like the armor, and so I put that on. We're good. I forgot how we were supposed to say Elias Cody is his name now, because apparently we've been saying it wrong.
I just go that guy.
Elias, or maybe the actor who played Casey Jones in movie 1 and 3 back in the 90s. When they put out his character at first, you couldn't take his mask off. So I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I can get that. But the one with his mask off, I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that. And I haven't bought April from the movie, the Judith Hogue figure. It's a great looking figure. The knees are a little weird, but everything else is cool. And
no, it's true.
I don't need that for some reason in my collector's heart. I'm still full with everything else, and I do not feel an absence without these.
You
just
kept
figures.
scrolling, basically.
Pretty much, but also it doesn't hurt that I abhor this version of Baxter Stockman. I do not care for humanoid Baxter Stockman.
I was gonna bring that up actually, because like. honestly, like I always kind of thought that like Hamato Yoshi and like kind of unmutated Baxter premutation premonition of a premutation.
Yeah,
makes me kind of want to say pre something else, and and it's just very strange.
it's very strange.
I think I mean, would you argue that like the human versions of them as shown in 87 TES like are not iconic though?
Well, they're iconic because I think that they're pertinent characters. So it's still who they are, but they just didn't have a lot of screen time. Like they,
yeah, no, that's true.
Like I don't know.
Hamato Yoshi, as like as in a human form, is in every episode of TMNT because he's in the very opening credits of every single episode.
Okay, so I sit corrected a little bit,
so you know what I mean. I mean, you want to know who has the most appearances? It's probably him.
You have a very
frankly one of the most appearances.
You make a very
Hamato
loud
Yoshi.
point.
Anyway.
But Baxter Stockman, of course not. But Hamato Yoshi, really,
no.
The thing, if they wanted to get me with Hamato Yoshi, they could have saved some money with the articulation and everything. All they had to do is get him on his knees with a knife in his hand and this open-mouthed face where he's just like, right before the Foot Clan kicked the bum out. Because, that's what I think about human Hamato Yoshi.
Yeah, but at that point, that's going to beg the question. We need the Grand Sensei figure.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
We definitely
cannot
need to
have a set where you got Hamato Yoshi just about to kick the bum out and there's no man to say it.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, so we definitely NECA we're going to need to get them. Yeah, exactly, win. Because we're going to need to recreate that scene of throw the bum out, And but yeah, if they had him like that, especially even if they could do it in the promo shots, I would be more inclined to spend money on this. But as it stands right now, no. I have the Splinter, the rat, the rad rat dad Splinter action figure. It looks fantastic. And I have the Baxter the Fly version, who was a fantastic character in the show. Like I loved that version of him. Hated the human versions. And Bebop and Rocksteady, if they were humans too, like if they were in the show more as their human forms, maybe, but even still, that kind of borderlines on the same thing with me. So yeah,
this is for my honest opinion, like outgoing opinion on this is for the kind of NECA animated series fan who needs everything. Like, let's be honest, like the Premutation thing is really cool because you've got you got Bebop and Rocksteady, you got all these other characters, you have all the other figures. Having the premutated versions is a kind of collector's dream, to be honest. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where this is targeted, right?
Absolutely.
It's the exclusive, and it's made, it's going to float out online. And if you're the collector who needs it all, it can be had, but of course, be prepared to be extorted for it.
Exactly.
Potentially.
Exactly.
But then again, I mean, one man's junk.
One man's junk. And speaking of one man's junk, we have a whole company's junk, if you know what I'm saying. So we're going to move right on in to